Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan TMHD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan TMHD, and today we just watched The Menu, the new, drama thriller film about food. And I really love the part that it's about food, because honestly, this movie made me realize how much I love movies about food. I don't know why, but it's very interesting. Movies about food are very interesting. Like, if you've watched movies about food, you know what I'm talking about. But before I go on a whole tirade, I really enjoyed this movie. I like the story, I like the characters, and I just all around really liked the style. But before I go on a rant, I'll tell you why I enjoyed this film and more back at the house.
Good evening. Welcome to Hawthorne. You, my dear guests, are not the common man. Isn't that right?
Is he gonna keep doing that?
What happens inside this room is meaningless compared to what happens outside. We are but a frightened nanosecond. Nature is timeless.
What the hell is going on?
I love you all.
We love you too, Chef!
Any questions?
Is this bergamot I'm getting, Chef?
Yes, it is.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Jonathan HD, and this week we watched The Menu. Starring in this film is Nicholas Hoult, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Ralph Fiennes. I think that's how you say his name. I don't really know how. But anyway, this was a lot of people are categorizing it as a horror comedy. Yes, it had comedic elements, but I wouldn't call it a full-on comedy. I mean, this movie had jokes. Yeah, this movie had a lot of comedic elements, like there were a lot of jokes, but it didn't feel like it was trying to be a full, funny movie. You know, it just had these funny moments. And the movie, I think, took itself pretty seriously. I think seriously enough to not be considered a comedy. So basically, yeah, while I do find the movie funny, it's not that I call it a comedy. Definitely not. And the horror part, I can kind of understand that. I can understand the horror part, but in my opinion, I think it's more of a suspenseful thriller. I mean, suspense is obviously in a thriller, but this movie is very nerve-wracking. And yes, horror movies are very nerve-wracking too, but I don't think I could classify this as a horror movie, really, because in my opinion, it is more like it makes your blood gets your blood pumping, you know, gets your heart racing. It makes you feel like what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is are they all gonna die? Is Margot or Anya Taylor-Joy's character is she gonna survive? Is she gonna die? It makes you think about what's gonna happen next. You know, keeps you on your toes. Well, a horror movie is more trying to scare you. You know, this movie isn't inherently trying to scare you. It's more trying to get you, as I said, blood pumping, heart racing, on the edge of your seat. You know, that's what this movie's trying to do. Horror movie, same thing, but different idea in doing that. You know, it tries to get, your adrenaline, while this one really makes you paranoid. Thrillers really get you paranoid, and that's why I love thrillers so much. I love Uncut Gems. That's a thriller. If you haven't seen it, what's wrong with you? Adam Sandler's best movie. Watch it. But I'll get back on track before I talk about that. But, yeah. This movie is just amazing. It's brilliant, in my opinion. I fucking love this movie. I really love the concept and the idea of the movie. And I like how, really, the chef isn't evil. He's just, had enough. You know, he's, been pushed to his breaking point. You know? And I'm obviously going to talk about spoilers in this review, just so that I can get my point across on why I love this movie so much. And if you were worried about spoilers, click off, watch the movie, come back. But, yeah, man, I think this movie had a really strong story, really strong characters. And the thing is, most of the characters are, pieces of shit. Or assholes. You know what I mean? I think Margot is the only good person out of everybody there. right? She's not even supposed to be there. It's like I'm not even supposed to be here today. But yeah, I don't know. I think also the introductions to each course I think were really interesting. I really liked all the names. I think in my opinion the courses all worked as chapters in the story, in my opinion. I think every course marked every chapter. And the final chapter was the cheeseburger. Oh no, was it the s'mores no, it was the s'mores, I think. Yeah, the final course was the s'mores. And I really think that the chef, even though he's a fucked up person, I think some of his philosophies do make sense. You know, with art and how when you, like a musician or a movie maker or an actor, they might start out doing this because they love it, because they think it's fun. But eventually they get to a point where there's the pressure to be successful all the time, or you have to have a hit record or a hit movie, or you have to be in an awesome movie, you have to be a great actor every single time, because you have those expectations, and the pressure of expectations can really get to you, and it can really make you not want to do what you love anymore. What you used to love just becomes like something that you just do out of the need of success, which you're not even doing it because you love it anymore. You're doing it because because of other people. You know, you're not doing it because of you. You're doing it because of viewers. And yes, you should do it for them, but you should also do it because you like it. You know, and I really like that idea. And I've always thought about that. And it's like, yeah, it's true. Like, art needs to have passion. Without passion, is it really art? You know what I mean? I mean, I guess in a technicality sense, yes, but without passion, you can really tell when an artist doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Because you have to put passion into a piece of art for people to care. I think, in my personal opinion, you have to show love. But I think this movie has a really unique message, and that I think the message is art is sacred, and we shouldn't try to take it for granted. You know, we should try to love the art that we make and appreciate the art that other people make, and not try to just push it aside, you know? We should try to give art a chance and try to appreciate it. I think that's at least what I took from it. I think the movie has a very good take on art itself and artists, and especially the people the eaters, the takers, like the movie likes to call them, the people that eat the art, or the people that take the art, that simply just take it, or the people that savor it, the people that, you know, the people that taste it. You know, the ones that don't just stuff their face with it. They like to think about it. They like to appreciate it. They like to look at it. Like to think about it more. Think about what it means, instead of just taking it at face value. I don't know. I don't know if that sounds a little cliche. I don't think it does, actually. I don't know why I said that. But, I don't know. I just really like the message, because I feel like not enough movies talk about that. And I think this movie isn't just talking about the culture of food. It's talking about art in general, you know? And I think it has a great message on how people ruin art, too. Of how the snobby critics and the know-it-all, the critics and the know-it-all snobs and the rich assholes, the celebrities, you know, the washed-up celebrities, you know, the ones who don't give a shit, like the sleazy businessmen, like all those people can ruin beautiful art, right? They can just destroy it, and I think the movie really demonstrates that really well, and it really got the point across. And honestly, it was probably one of my favorite films of the year. In my opinion, this is one of my favorite films of the year, probably at least in my top 10. I really love this movie, and I highly, highly recommend it for any film fans. It's a very, very good watch, and it's very insightful, and I think the final message of the film of food, the whole topic of the movie is food and art, but the final message, like when he's talking about s'mores, is literally the most, like, insulting thing you can feed a person, because he's like a gourmet chef, right, and he only makes the best of the best food, right? And he's saying s'mores is like the most insulting food you can ever give somebody, and how it's terrible that it's like represented with innocence and childhood, because you've got this terrible processed chocolate, you've got marshmallows that are like sugary water, like sugary puffed up water, and then you have the graham crackers, which they're just graham crackers, right? Like all artificial bullshit, and you put them all. I mean, I like s'mores, but I kind of agree with what he's saying here. Like, you're tainting a beautiful art form with garbage. You know, I like s'mores, but I kind of agree with him there. You know, because he's right. I feel like a lot of the things that the chef says are right. He's obviously a very flawed character, but I think his philosophies do make sense. Because you understand where he's coming from. You know, you understand why he's at his breaking point. You understand why he's there. Because when eventually Anya Taylor-Joy or Margot, when she gets out of the dining area and she gets to the chef's house or his cabin, and she gets into like his secret room, she finds all these old pictures of him, and he's like happy. He loves to cook. He's cooking a burger, and he's like got a huge smile on his face, and he's like, he looks like he loves cooking. And whenever he's cooking now, he's just blank. He's nothing, right? He doesn't feel anything because he doesn't love it anymore. He doesn't have passion for it anymore because of the pressure, like I said earlier. And at the end of the movie, also, by the way, I forgot to mention this, everybody's gonna die at the dinner, at the meal. Everybody's gonna die, including him, the chefs, and the attendees. And Margot isn't supposed to be there because the asshole Tyler, aka the guy, aka the guy who plays Beast in the X-Men movies, if you didn't know that, which is really weird because he's barely aged. Anyway, it's really weird. It's weird seeing him without glasses too. Like, I'm used to his glasses look with Beast, but anyway, she's there and she's an escort that he hired to bring with him, because his date dumped him and because he knew he couldn't attend a table alone. And he knew that everybody was going to die there. He's the only one that knew. And he brought Margot anyway. Because he thought, like, oh, she's just an escort, right? I bet that's what he was thinking. And he's a really fucked up person, but he's also pretty funny. Because he just does not give a shit about anything that's happening. He only cares about the food. Because he's like such a know-it-all, you know, like, I know everything there is to know about food. Well, actually, I know everything there is to know about food. I am the greatest food fan of their fan. But anyway, as I was saying, back on track. When she gets to the house, she finds the photos, and she comes back, and she says, I don't like the food that you made for me. I thought it was terrible. I want you to bring it back. And he's like, I'm sorry that happened. Why don't you like the food? And she's like, well, I thought it was all bullshit. I thought it was all stupid, fancy, you know, all that. I just want real, authentic, like, food, you know? And he's like, what could you make? And she's like, you know what? I could feel for a burger right now. And he made one. And it was like an authentic cheeseburger with American cheese. And while he was cooking it, he was smiling. He was happy. 'Cause, like, he said he wasn't happy making food, and this time he was. He enjoyed making it. And when he gave it to her, she was satisfied when she was eating it. And eventually she's like, can I get it to go? And he's like, yes, you can get it to go, and here's like a gift bag. And he lets her go, and she escapes. He lets her leave. And then he kills everybody, but I think, honestly, it's a good ending for the chef. You know, I think it's a good ending for him because his last thing that he cooked, he was happy, right? The last thing he ever cooked was happy. He was happy cooking. I think it's a happy ending for him. You know, I feel like also he was gonna die anyway. I feel like he had already made his mind by then, because it's like he's not gonna abort the plan at that point. He's already too far into it. But I also think just like, the movie really made me feel something, you know? Like, I really wanted to see Margot escape. I really wanted to see... Honestly, I also felt bad for the chef a little bit. I mean, yeah, he's gonna kill these people, but these people are all, like, terrible people, you know? Like, none of them are good, right? Like, there are these sleazy owners of companies that were basically embezzling money, and they knew it, and they put it, like, on these tortilla like, these tacos. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. I can't explain everything I liked about this movie because I'd be here all day. But anyway, I just loved this movie, and I think you would too. Please go out and see this. As I said earlier, you'll love it. Fan of thrillers, fan of like horror, I guess, because if you like horror, you probably like thrillers. But please go see this movie. This is the one time I'm begging you to see this movie because I want to see it succeed. It's that good. I love it. Love this movie to death. And I think I'd give it, I don't know if I'm being too generous. Honestly, I don't care. I love this movie so much, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It was a nearly perfect movie to me because of how much it made me feel and how much I actually really was into the story, really into the style of this movie, and how much this movie just was really engaging and enthralled in the culture of food, you know? Like, it made me want to eat, like, this really fancy gourmet meal afterwards. And I wasn't even that hungry. And it made me want to eat, like, fancy meats and, like, oyster stuff. I don't know. But, yeah, I love this movie. Highly recommend it, as I said. Please go out and see it. Support your local theater. Do stuff like that. But I think I've said enough. So, I also think I've said my piece. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you liked it. Subscribe, turn notifications on, share with your friends. Comment down below how much you liked it. But, I didn't mean any of that. What I really meant to say was, hope you guys hated this video. Unsubscribe, dislike, tell me what you hate me in the comments. Signing off. It's all a part of the menu, guys. Let's talk about movies. Is it recording?